What's up, BlueTube? It's your boy, the Blu-ray Bandit. Today we're going to walk through a bunch of Blu-ray and 4K Blu-ray pickups I've recently acquired. Let's go! Welcome back. Here is the entire stack. Just for reference, we got some local stores. We got a store in Georgia. We got a Hamilton Books haul that came in January, and I promised myself I was going to open on camera, and now it's October. I still haven't opened it up, and so I'm kind of curious what's inside of it because honestly, I've forgotten what I bought. So we're going to find out together. Let's get this thing started. First up, this is a boring old Amazon pickup. This was for $9.99. They were on sale on Amazon for a little while back, and it is Inglorious Bastards on 4K. Inglorious Bastards being Quentin Tarantino's World War II masterpiece. You know, this is sealed and brand new since it did come with Amazon. Came with beautiful slipcover with minimal damage. Looks like there's a little notch right there in the corner, but other than that, this is a brand new copy of Inglorious Bastards. Big fan of Quentin Tarantino like most, and I'm excited to add this one to the collection. Next up, this was a Facebook Marketplace purchase. Again, all of these were collected over the last 10 months, and I just never added them to my shelves. I just added them to a pile that kept getting bigger and bigger of things that I wanted to open on camera. So I'm excited to finally get these out of their packages. This is Hook, the Steven Spielberg movie based on the Peter Pan lore. It's definitely a Peter Pan movie, but one with a lot of twists for sure. There we go. This is a used copy, so it is opened with no digital code. At one point, I had every Steven Spielberg movie ever made, like 32 of them, on Blu-ray or 4K Blu-ray. I don't have that anymore because he released West Side Story. I don't have a copy of that yet, but I will eventually. In the meantime, I've been upgrading all these classic Steven Spielberg titles, the ones that are available on 4K. I've been upgrading from Blu-ray to 4K. This is one of those upgrades. Next up, a couple of films I got from the dollar store. This is mid-90s, an A24 movie, but this is not the A24 release. Again, I say I got this from the dollar store, but really I paid $1.25 because evidently the dollar store is no longer the dollar store anymore. This looks like it's maybe Spanish or French, the Spanish or French version. I don't know. The back is in pure English. I don't know, but this is brand new. It's a VVS Films release. I already have a copy of this, but for $1.25, I could not resist. I have a couple friends that are a fan of this film. I figured I'd just probably give it to one of them. And here's another dollar store title. This is I Kill Giants. This is probably French. I'm assuming these are Canadian releases. Yeah, I don't know much about this one either, but I have heard good things about it, at least from like a sci-fi visual effects point of view. So I figured for $1.25, I'd check it out. If you've seen this movie, let me know if it's worth me popping it open. Either way, I'm gonna hold on to it until I get a chance to watch it. Next up is a pair of used 4Ks that I picked up at a secondhand store up in Georgia. The store is called CD Warehouse. When was this? This was 7/08, so July 8th, I bought these. I'm pretty sure that's when I bought the dollar store. Blu-rays as well. The Hook Blu-ray from Facebook Marketplace, I don't know, somewhere earlier this year. The first movie from CD Warehouse is The Sum of All Fears, starring Ben Affleck and Morgan Freeman, an entry in the Jack Ryan series, which is kind of a confusing series. I mean, you got a lot of actors who have played Jack Ryan over the years. The movies don't necessarily connect, even though they're all from the same books. I've never read the books, but from what I understand, the books are the same way. It's like the same main character. There are some vague through lines, but for the most part, you don't have to read them in order because there's no character progression, I guess. I don't know. I don't know much about it beyond the movies, which I've seen all of them. And that's generally how they feel. They don't really connect, yet they all star a guy named Jack Ryan. Go figure. Yeah, this is like one of the weaker of the Jack Ryan movies, but it's one that I enjoy for sure. Perfect 4K in a perfect 4K case. There's the inside. No digital codes with these. Yeah, not a movie I see often in 4K Blu-ray lots, and that's why I picked it up. Next up is Who Framed Roger Rabbit, a classic, a movie that I love. You probably love it too. It's a classic of, what is it, late 80s, early 90s animation? I don't remember exactly when Who Framed Roger Rabbit came out. Yeah, another used Blu-ray. I paid a little over $20 for both of these used Blu-rays. I typically try to pay no more than about $10 for a used 4K Blu-ray, no matter what the title. So even though I didn't get these online or in a lot, it generally fit my pricing criteria for what I'm willing to purchase. I don't think I've ever seen one of these in a 4K lot on eBay. So when I saw it on the shelf for that price, I had to grab it. Next up is a couple standard Blu-rays from a local store here in Orlando called East West Records, which is basically what it sounds like. It's a used record store here in Orlando that also sells Blu-rays and DVDs. I paid asking price for these, but they were a good price. Titles I don't have yet, so I figured I'd pick them up. Why not? This one is LA Confidential, the 20th anniversary edition in beautiful, flawless slipcover. Now, this runs on eBay for like $2 or $3, just the standard Blu-ray, but the moment you add the slipcover to the deal, it went up to like $11 or $12. So even though I paid $7 for it, I figured if I ever find it without the slipcover, if I ever decided to sell it, I'd at least get my money back. I have no plans to sell it, but it's hard for me to buy something knowing that if I decided someday to resell it, I'd lose money on it. That is not the case as far as this copy of LA Confidential goes. This is a movie I've seen and I remember enjoying, although I don't remember much about it. If you do, please let me know whether it's worth a rewatch or not. Whoop, that one came with a surprised digital code. Yeah, I don't remember much about this movie, but I'm definitely into it and I want to see it again. I'm sure there's something to revisit in this one and eventually I'll get to it. And here's another one that I paid $6.99 for. This is Jay and Silent Bob Reboot. This is before Clerks 3, the most recent Kevin Smith movie, the sequel to Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. Big Kevin Smith fan, trying to collect all of his movies on Blu-ray, but I haven't quite got there. This is definitely one that I was missing since it was a relatively new release. And also one that typically goes for $12 or $13 on eBay with slipcover. This one had the slipcover. It was beautiful. It was flawless. So I decided to pick it up and add it to the collection. There's the back, and there is the inside. No digital code on this one, and only the Blu-ray. No DVD in this case. So even though I paid $7 for this, which is typically more than I would pay for a single Blu-ray, this was a special case in that this was a movie that was not widely seen. I don't believe it was widely purchased, and the chances of me finding this out in the wild at a pawn shop or a thrift store are pretty slim, for sure. Next up, we got a package here from Vinegar Syndrome. This is the first Vinegar Syndrome Blu-ray I've ever purchased because Vinegar Syndrome Blu-rays are freaking expensive. This is also maybe the most I've ever paid for a standard Blu-ray. The Blu-ray inside of this I paid $31.49 for, but it was for a good cause, for sure. A friend of mine is a filmmaker. He made a movie many years ago that never got a Blu-ray release, got a direct-to-DVD release. The movie is a documentary titled Beauty Day that is a great documentary. I mean, don't take my word for it. Take Vinegar Syndrome's word for it. I mean, this is a movie that came out in 2009, maybe 2010, and here they are this many years giving it a Blu-ray release. That should say something about the quality of the film. Yeah, it's a documentary about this guy in Canada who has like a late night cable access TV show that preceded Tom Green and Jackass that contained all these crazy stunts that he would do in his backyard and around his pool and stuff like that. This is the limited edition with the slipcover. I don't even know if this is available yet. I know it was very limited edition. I don't remember how many, but not many. This is the Blu-ray itself. It's still unopened. I'm not going to open it until I decide to rewatch the movie, which I've seen multiple times at this point. I think I've seen it maybe 3 or 4 times. I show this one to a lot of people. The slipcover itself is pretty great. I mean, you have like, it's made of this really thick cardboard, has great printing, has an embossed cover, like you can actually feel the art on it itself. I mean, it's pretty crazy and high quality. If a lot of the Vinegar Syndrome releases have this kind of slipcover, I could see why people are into it, for sure. Even if you don't want to pay $31 for it to get it on Blu-ray, you should definitely track down Beauty Day and give it a shot. And finally, here we have the Clickbait. This is a box of Blu-rays from HamiltonBook.com. If you don't know about Hamilton Book, it's a place that sells overstocked Blu-rays, I'm assuming, at a discount. And at some point in January of this year, I went on their website, I picked a couple of Blu-rays, I paid for them, the package came, I threw it in the stack of pickups that I eventually want to make a video on. Then I didn't upload for like 9 months, and here it is, still unopened, and I have no clue what I bought. It's been so long. I guess I could have looked it up, but I thought it might be fun to open it up here live and be just as surprised as you are. Here we go. Evidently I paid $25.40 for these 3 Blu-rays, and now I know why. First up, we've got Teen Wolf and Teen Wolf 2, a Teen Wolf double feature. The original Teen Wolf, I have strong nostalgic feelings for. I'm not quite sure it's a good movie by today's comparisons, but it's definitely a movie I enjoyed as a kid. I watched a bunch and I want a physical copy of to watch whenever I want. I'm sure I've seen Teen Wolf 2 as well, but I don't really remember that movie. So Hamilton Book was selling this for a little under $6. So I figured, hey, it's a space saver. It's a movie I really want. I never see it in pawn shops. I decided to pick it up. Next, we have Neon Demon, kind of a noir thriller movie directed by Nicholas Winding Refn, who directed the movie Drive. If you really like the movie Drive, you should also check this out. Has a great cast, including Elle Fanning, Jenna Malone, Abby Lee, Christina Hendricks, and Keanu Reeves makes a short appearance in this movie as well. Yeah, if you definitely like Nicholas Winding Refn's aesthetic, you should watch Neon Demon. It is a good one for sure, and little seen for some reason. I'm not sure why. It's pretty awesome, especially if you're a genre movie fan. No spoilers here, but if you're a genre movie fan and you haven't checked out Neon Demon, it's time to remedy that. And lastly, for Hamilton Books, we've got Laggies. Acting Your Age is so overrated. This is a movie that was distributed by A24 here in the United States, but I'm seeing now that this is not an A24 Blu-ray. This is another VVS Films Blu-ray. You can kind of see that right on the corner. Which is curious because I'm trying to add it to my A24 collection on the shelf with all the little A24 logos across the bottom. And now I got this copy of Laggies that doesn't say A24 on it. What am I supposed to do about that? I don't really have OCD, I don't think, but for some reason, this really bothers me. Anyway, the reason why I picked it up from Hamilton Book instead of maybe buying it on eBay, making sure I get a US copy of it, is because this runs about $15 to $20 on eBay, even more if you want a slipcover. Meanwhile, Hamilton Book was selling this for a little less than $8, and now we know why. It's not the US version, but it does have a slipcover, and it is sealed, and I've never seen the movie. I don't know anything about it. I do know that this was director Lynn Shelton's final movie. She passed away unexpectedly a few years back, and it was kind of tragic because people point to this movie and a few of her others as kind of like new classics in like teen storytelling, like very much like of the Clueless crowd, but just like 10 years ago when this movie came out, amongst others. Yeah, so we took a loss there, but I'm excited about the cast. Keira Knightley, Chloe Grace Moretz, and Sam Rockwell. I mean, you can't go wrong there, for sure. All right, and there we go. Quite an eclectic mix for this haul. We got some 4Ks, some regular Blu-rays, some $1.25 Blu-rays, a boutique Blu-ray that cost me over $30. It doesn't get much more eclectic than that. And that's it. Thanks for watching, guys, and thanks for sticking with me. Don't forget to like, subscribe, comment, and hit the bell for the YouTube algorithm. And I'll see you next time. Until then, goodbye.